dusty old road in a ramshackle town.
I had booked him for a concert in a small town in Colorado, and he had come, and I didn't know his music. I didn't know Bluegrass that well either, and I was just searching for someone that would come to this mountain town, and Peter's very adventurous, and so he showed up, and then I met him again in Sausalito when I moved there. He was playing at the Sweetwater, and I thought, oh, I should go see Peter. And so I went, and we struck up a conversation, and he invited me to go to this play. And I had made one other documentary, and honestly, I was driving back in the car with him, and I was thinking, he's well known. Maybe I should make a documentary about him. It was no more than just the idea of wanting to do another project and feeling that he was definitely a man with stories, a man that had a lot of character, that had a lot of years behind him in the music business, and played with Bill Monroe. And I knew that was really special and that was important. And so he agreed after a few days, and I just sort of followed him around, not really knowing what was going to happen or how it was going to happen. And 10 years later, I finished it finally. And you know, in the meantime, he's kind of like my uncle now. He played at our wedding, and he's a good friend and a part of my extended family for sure. So it was a labor of love. He was humbled by the whole experience. You know, he felt even a little awkward at times of like, who am I to talk about myself? As I'm living my life, he was a little nervous about that and didn't feel all that comfortable. But he's a great storyteller, and I think once he gets into the story, then he becomes a little more animated, and he has these great memories. But you're right, he isn't a ham, so to speak, but he's an entertainer, and so maybe there's a difference. He's an entertainer when he's on stage. He wants to make that show special for you, and he's right there in the moment. And even though he's told a story, hundreds of times, he'll tell it again with a little twist or a little nuance that it doesn't become boring. But he's not a ham, but he's humble. But he's an entertainer, definitely. He's gone at it for so long, and he's a true musician. That's all he does. He's traveled the world, and he's made it his own. He's really not worried about the business of music and what the next hit is and what he can do to make his sales bigger, more. He's really just about what words, what stories inspire him to write the song. And he's got a little bit of a calmness about him because of his Buddhist practice, and he thinks about things before he speaks, and he's just on his own program, and he's his own character, and he's not molded by any one thing. And so I think that gains respect from people that realize that you just have to follow your own path, whatever that is. I mean, he's made mistakes, and he's not, this perfectly Zen person, and he would tell you that, but he's really just followed his own intuition, his own feeling, his own who he is. Well, I would say one of the first ones is Dharma Blues, which has just come out July 8th. And so that CD is the recording session that's in the film. That's the CD that came out of that. So it's finally out. So I took a long time, but that took a long time too. So I would recommend that one because it's great. It's got a lot of different sounds, and it's really Peter. It's like some of the songs that are really dear to his heart lately. Honestly, the Old and in the Way album that he plays with all those other great people, I think is a really important one. And Peter's something very interesting, I think has a lot of good songwriting and stories, is Dust Bowl Children. I guess one of his bluegrass ones with Bluegrass Boy is a really good one. That's something a little more recent. And so yeah, that's a little variety. Awake Me in the New World and Ragabilly are both, you know, different sounds, and those are interesting too. It was personal for me because I was able to be a part of someone's life and story and learn from that and learn about history, bluegrass history, Bill Monroe, and just who he was a little bit to Peter and how it affected him, and how it's stuck with him, and how certain things Bill has said over all these years has stuck with Peter, and how that's for me, like if you have a mentor or someone that you look up to or that you're, and to take away the knowledge of that person and keep it throughout your whole life and keep referring back to it and back to it, it's a pretty amazing thing that Bill gave him. And Bill didn't know that. He was giving Peter that, but Peter was such an apprentice, and he is such an absorption, his mind absorbs things so well that it really stuck, and Peter made Bill's, you know, words just keep alive all these years of what he was all about. So it inspires me to know that, you know, whoever your mentor is, or to cherish that. It's really important to have people out there that you look up to and you learn from, and keep that with you.
Don't she look pretty in the light of the dawn, sparkling and glistening like a river of stone?